Alrighty, so today I'm doing a review on a paddle by a pickleball brand that's based out of the Bay Area called Phyr, and this is their Inferno PX-14. I've been following Phyr for a long time on TikTok, almost as long as I've been posting online, and I was very excited to hear from them and given the opportunity to review one of their paddles. So I played with this paddle, I would say maybe about 20 to 30 hours now. The first time I used it in a round robin. Never warmed up with it, never tested it out, and I did not perform nearly as well as I had hoped when first playing with the paddle. But you know, honestly, that is kind of to be expected. You pick up a new paddle, you get used to it, you learn its quirks, its characteristics, and the Phyr pickleball paddle has a couple of characteristics that stood out to me right away. I mainly was kind of challenged by using the paddle in the way that the paddle felt, swinging it around. I'm used to paddles that have a little bit less material on the tops. I prefer them. I prefer paddles that are a little bit smaller in their face and a little bit longer in the handle. You know, I like to use the weapon of choice analogy a lot. I tend to like paddles that are long but have not too much weight on their ends, or paddles that are long and if they do have a lot of weight, that is kind of balanced more towards the handle or right at the middle, not the top. You know, here we're thinking daggers, short swords, hatchets. You know, these are more nimble and quick to use. I tend not to do very well and not to enjoy, you know, the heavier paddles, the battle axes, the broadswords. You know, these really long, kind of hard to wield things like a cudgel or a club. So back to the Inferno. The Inferno, I would say, is kind of like a longsword. You know, it's got a little bit wider face, closer to where the handle terminates, and it's got a fair amount of material compared to other paddles. As you can see here, I'm overlaying a couple of my other paddles that I use and how this one measures up to that one. Basically, it's got a little bit more weight just above where my hand goes than I would like it to have. And because of that, I found it kind of hard to shape balls from time to time. I found the faster the game moved, the more careful I had to be when I was doing my little wind-up getting ready to hit a ball. I found it to be a little less wieldy than other paddles I've used. But again, this is more about getting used to how to move around with the thing than it is the thing itself being a barrier. Once I got used to that and understood, you know, I had to prepare a little bit more, maybe put a second hand on there to give it a little bit more mobility. I found the paddle's strengths to really come out. I'm not sure if the PX-14 is technically a power paddle with you know, the stats or the math that it outputs as far as, you know, how fast the ball is going, its pop and its power, but it definitely feels poppier than most paddles that I play with, and the power you get from this paddle is quite good. Two things that did extremely well were drives and serves. The one thing I had to adjust a little bit on the serves is I had to make sure that I was doing a little bit more wrist lag than I tend to do because of that extra weight, that extra material that you're dragging forward. And you know, once I got a handle on that, I started focusing my energies on making sure my serves had a little bit of oomph and making sure my drives were well planned. Another thing this paddle excels at is native spin generation. The face has this weave appearance and like almost like a metal texture, and because of that, it just fucking rips it. So yeah, all in all, a really well-made paddle, really high-quality construction. Thank you, Phyr, for sending out to me. Also, thank you for sending me the glasses. Those are also Phyr. I'll do a quick little review on those later. That's my review, and thanks for watching.
Good reach, good power, good spin. Hard to shape balls sometimes, but really good to use with two hands. Able to leverage it better.